Hello and welcome to Flux Motorsport's coverage of Round 2 of the GT1 Championship Season 2 in 2021, and today we're at the iconic Circuit de la Sarthe in France, home to the legendary Le Mans 24-hour race for the World Endurance Championship. Our GT1 series will race on the considerably shorter 2.6-mile Bugatti circuit, which features 11 corners and some tight, twisty, narrow sections to get through. I'm Redders and I'm flying solo this evening, but we're going to have a lot of fun together, I'm absolutely sure, especially following a rather exciting opening round in Austria last week, and we're shortly looking for some more fireworks today, aren't we? So we're in our 20-minute qualifying session at the moment, just taking a little look on board with Darnell, who joined us as a rookie this time last week, had a fairly steady, fairly decent opening race. Unfortunately, a few pit stop issues meant that he would finish last, but he got the experience and he's looking forward to this race here for round 2. So last week, if you missed it, where were you? Linga Bazinga was the race winner, the defending champion from Season 1 in 2021. Took the honours with the race win and the fastest lap, although it was a little bit controversial, not through his own fault. Unfortunately, a little issue in regards to disconnect for Blankfile, who was leading the way. Unfortunately, with about 10 minutes left to go, he ended up dropping out of the session. It was a shame because it had been quite a good performance as well, but it ended up leaving Linga Bazinga taking the race win ahead of Bruce Law, who had an incredible race, got to the lead quite early on. Unfortunately, about lap 3 ended up spinning from the lead, dropping all the way down to 11th, but a great recovery drive saw him come all the way back up to P2. So it was a great job by him as well, and plenty more things to be looking out for across the championship. Because it's only one race down, it's pretty simple. The tables at the moment, Linga Bazinga leading the way on 36 points. He also took the point for fastest lap. A little bit of controversy going on in the Discord chat. We'll tell you how to check that out a little bit later as well, as Bruce Law did have a faster lap than Linga Bazinga in the race, but as the rules state here at Flux Motorsport, in order to get the points you do need to finish. So unfortunately Bruce wasn't able to keep the point for the fastest lap either. No, blank file, sorry. Too many B's. Bruce Law is second in our championship with 30 points. Snarling Bongo is third with 27. Dr. Potford is fourth with 25. Martin is fifth with 23. Immortalis is sixth with 20. Lil God seventh with 17 points. CDN Trooper with 15. Green Gaming in 9th with 13 points, and 10 points for 10th place Biohazard. Survivor, Darnell and Blankfire with 7, 5 and 1 points completes the table. Murphy is unable to be with us tonight. Unfortunately, he had an issue which meant that he was unable to finish the race last time out, as well as M Sport also struggled through to quarter way in our qualifying session. At the moment, Martin is the one on pole position by just 0.02 of a second from Bruce Law in second place, and look at how close it is. Linga Bazinga in third, just 0.07 back, and Blankfile in fourth, just shy of a tenth. The top 4 in qualifying at this early stage all covered by less than a tenth. That is what you like to see, and it's one of those competitive championships, and certainly something that I was really enjoying as I was looking at our drivers having their conversation, having their pre-race chat earlier on this afternoon. A lot of them saying, I'm not entirely sure about my pace, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be good enough. A lot of people wondering if there's Lewis Hamilton tactics going on. Bono, my tyres are gone. Fastest lap, fastest lap, fastest lap. So I'm sure we'll see. In the meantime, Lil God down in 5th place. He's a little bit frustrated after the last race as well. Had a great performance early on, was trying to challenge for a podium position until a mistake at turn 1 meant that he ended up spinning out and dropping all the way back to 7th place come the end of it. Snarling Bongo, just a few tenths behind, just sets a quicker lap, still sees him in 6th place for the time being, just 6 tenths now behind pole sitter Martin. Snarling had himself a great race. He got himself 3rd place last time out, so he's looking pretty good in the championship as well. Dr. Popford down in 8th, just coming out for another run there. There is CDN Trooper in 9th, 1.8 seconds off of pole, and Chris 94 M Sport rounds out the top 10 as we get to the 7-minute stage at the moment. Flux Motorsport, if you want to know more about what we do and you want to see everything that's going on, all you need to do to keep up with everything Flux Motorsport related, make sure that you hit the subscribe button whilst you're here, as well as the bell notification icon so that you get notified of all the latest videos as they appear here on YouTube. And why not drop us a like on this video too? You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Flux Motorsport. And don't forget that you can also join our Discord server too to keep up to date with everything going on here at Flux Motorsport. If you think that you can have a go at this, if you want to become part of the Flux Motorsport community, to the website fluxmotorsport.com. All the information that you need to be signing up and joining us is there. So why don't you come and join us? Do it. You know, I'm here just as a commentator, mainly because I realised that I wouldn't be able to compete with these guys. But if you think you're a dab hand at Project Cars too, this is the place to show yourself. So we'll go to Carlin Hicks here, who's just ended up in the gravel. He's actually a reserve driver joining us for this race. Standing, we've had a few drivers unable to make it this evening, so Carlin gets an opportunity to get a run out. I think he's just trying to stay out of everyone's way for the time being, as I believe that's Darnell coming behind. No, that's someone else. So Carlin Hicks then just getting prepared, I think, unity. So here is a perfect example of someone who our community pass the evaluation drive. Before you can take part in our championships, you do have to pass an evaluation drive. It's pretty simple, not too difficult. Even I could pass it if they would let me do it, but they've confined me to this commentary booth. Not that I'm complaining. I've got air conditioning in here on this lovely day in France. So why don't we follow Carlin Hicks as he runs quite wide. Is he preparing for a qualifying lap? Let's see, as he gets down on the hammer, crosses the start-finish straight and goes for a lap. Heading down then to the Dunlop curve, part of the legendary Le Mans circuit of the De La Salle, of course, the massive track used for the Le Mans 24 hours. Into the Dunlop chicane 2 and 3 here, as he works his way down underneath the bridge as we come down the hill. And this is the point where we turn off from the main circuit at La Chapelle, and we go around. It's a little bit wide there. Could have been a little bit closer to the apex, but making his way down now to Le Musée. Nice little hairpin there. Again, a little bit tighter. Gets it a little bit closer, a little bit neater. Exits pretty nice. Goes down to Garage Vert. Is a double apex corner here. Down at 1. And around the corner for 2. And now down onto the back straight. The longest part of the back straight. Heading down to Chemin au Boeuf. The chicane down here into 7 and 8. But he has a little bit of a spin, which is a bit of a shame. Resets himself there and just gets out of the way of the car coming around behind. So Carlin will have to have another go at that one. In the meantime, heading to the top of the tables, it's Immortalis that now has pole position. Gets himself 800ths in front of Linga Bazinga, who's in the pits at the moment. So a really good time of a 1:28.116 there. Can they push into the 1:27s? When I was doing some practice with some of the guys, I was expecting maybe 1:30s, so it shows how much I know. They're going so much quicker as Immortalis goes and gets ready for another lap. It was Immortalis, actually, who was the main culprit of the "I'm not sure if my pace is going to be okay." A lot of people going, sounds very Lewis Hamilton-esque about that, so clearly he's maybe holding his cards a little bit closer to his chest here. We'll soon find out. Plenty of time still. 8 minutes and 40 seconds still left in qualifying. Blank File just a little bit further behind, just over a 10th behind in 3rd place as he comes to cross the line now for another lap. Is it a start? Is it a beginning? And Blank File goes top on a 1:28.06 1:26.1 gets ever closer to that 1:27. Not quite there yet, but that is provisional pole then for Blank File, getting oh so close, and just half a tenth now ahead of Immortalis. It is so tight at the top of this table, and that's what we love, and that's one of the things a lot of the drivers were concerned about coming into this season. There was so many top tier drivers taking part that they were really concerned as to how they were going to be able to have a consistent fight for the championship, which in all essence, with this many drivers taking part, that's one thing that you'd absolutely love. In fact, that we're not entirely sure who's going to be at the front, when they're going to be at the front, can they stick with the front. It's something to keep an eye on. These races will go circuit to circuit, and I think it would just favour some drivers over others, so we'll just have to see how that works out for them. Shimon above the chicane there going through for Blank Fire as he ends up coming into the pits. Let's take a look elsewhere. Lil God only 3/10 behind on pole, but it's only good enough for 6th place. This is how close it is. The top 7 actually all covered by less than a second, and Lil God in 6th, I'd say just 3/10 behind. Just that small amount, just 3.5 times to cover the top 6 as Lil God comes and finishes his lap, doesn't improve his lap time. Darnell has a penalty by the looks of it. If we just take a quick look to see what's happened with him, it's a 1 place grid penalty. I noticed that kind of right at the very beginning of the session, so I'm not entirely sure if he did something just coming out of the garage, but he's got himself a grid penalty straight out the bat, so that's not exactly going to help him. But Darnell just looking to improve on his race from last time out, just looking to learn, just get the experience. He just wants to see how good he can do, really, just compared to the rest of the drivers. We'll take a look at Dr. Popford down in 9th place. He finished 4th in the first race in Austria down at the Red Bull Ring last week. A great performance, kind of under the radar, which has been one of the continuous stories whilst I've been here with Flux Motorsport. Is just goes under the radar and just pops up with a great result. So another driver to keep an eye out for, as he just has a little bit of a spin, unfortunately there. Not exactly what he wanted to do, and tried to turn around going left. Really wanted to go right, I think, but until he saw there was some drivers just coming through, just had to make his way out and just stopping to let some of those through. Take a look at Biohazard, has been struggling a little bit in the qualifying session at the moment. 6 seconds down. I know he can do a little bit faster, so I think he's just building up to another fast lap now. We'll just see what he'll be able to do here on a 1:34.1 at the moment. Blank Fire still leading the way on a 1:28.0 as Chris 94M Sport seems to have picked up a penalty now as well, so not entirely sure what's happened there. Also 1 place grid penalty for him, so it looks like another situation just coming out of the pits, so I don't know if it's just the pit limiter thing. Have they forgot to switch on the pit limiter as they're leaving the garage? It's a bit of a shame if it's that's been causing the issues. We look at Linga Bazinga now, the defending champion and championship leader at the moment, in 3rd place. Just a 10th and a bit behind Blank Fire on pole position at the moment. Just coming through. Le Musée just heading down to Garage Vert right now. 1 and 2. Down on the back straight to go to the chicane at 7 and 8. Just getting a little bit of tire temperature in, maybe not quite feeling the lap time at the moment, so just preparing himself for another lap in the meantime. Blank File sitting in the pits with 4 minutes to go in our qualifying session. Still leading away from Immortalis and Linga Bazinga in 3rd. Bruce Law is down in 4th place. Looks like he's preparing himself for a lap at the moment, just coming through the chicane of 9 and 10. Rounds the final corner of 11 here of Raccordamen, and gets ready to start a flying lap. down through the Dunlop curve, heading towards the Dunlop chicane. Another attempt to try and get himself a little bit further up the grid. He's just 2 tenths off of pole position, so not that much to find in order to take the lead. A lot of these drivers still just trying to find that magic 127 lap. Can they do it? As Bruce Law now through La Chapelle onto the main part of the Bugatti circuit here at Circuit de la Sarthe in France. Goes through Le Musier down at 5, heading down to Garage Vert at 6, the double apex corner. Nice line, doesn't quite hit the apexes there, I've noticed, but it seems to be working out fine for him down on the back straight as he comes to the chicane of turns 7 and 8. A little bit of traffic up in front, hopefully not too affecting him too much. These GT1 cars can be a little bit problematic in that regard, but hopefully not too bad as he goes through 9 and 10 in a final sector of this lap, coming through now to the last corner, and oh no, that's going to be a bit of a problem as and that was going to be a lap. Unfortunately, it looks like, was that Darnell? No, that wasn't Darnell. I keep saying it's Darnell, I keep blaming him. I really shouldn't, but yes, so Bruce Law is going to have to go. And is he going to be able to get round in time? There's only 1 minute and 40 left on the clock, and he's got to get out of the pits. He's just getting to the line now. He's going to have a few seconds to spare, so he's going to have to push this quite carefully, because especially if he wants to get that lap time. He's only got 1 minute 28, and of course that is the pole lap by Blinkfile at the moment. So he's only got that amount of time. He's only got a few seconds really to spare to be able to get to the line in time. Martin in 5th place sat in the garage, so he's going to be content with at least 5th place. Lilcod tries to at least jump him. He'll get one more opportunity after this lap as he comes round the final corner now of Recordamen, and Lilcod will come through for his latest qualifying effort, and he will jump up to 5th and jumps Martin, so goes a little bit quicker, just a few hundredths faster, but it's enough to get him at the 5th place. The CDN Trooper now crosses the line to start another lap for him. He's got 2 seconds to find on Blankfile if he wants pole position. Lil God heads into the pit, so he's happy with 5th place. That'll be as good as he'll do. We go back to Bruce Law. He's got a few corners left to go. He'll make it for one last opportunity. But this time he does have Darnell in front of him, as Immortalis and Biohazard also both pit. Carlin Hicks also in the pits as well, so he'll start his reserve race in last place. But it's good to see him join us, and don't forget that you can join us as well. We'll tell you how to do that in a few moments time, as Bruce Law then starts his final qualifying lap and gets held up by a car that's just come out of the pits. I think that might have been Martin. I think it was, yes, it was Martin 65 who just came out of the pits right at the end of the session and got right in the way of Bruce Law there. That's a shame, because we were hoping for a last fine lap from Bruce Law to follow there. Linka Bazinga in 3rd, as Blankfile did find that lap time. Where did that come from? A 1:27.357, just absolutely from out of nowhere. Where did that come from to be 7 tenths clear of Immortalis in 2nd place? Now that was a lap that just came from out of nowhere, so absolutely brilliant job by him. Not only did he find the elusive 127, he found a 127.3. It's a brilliant job there. So that is Blankfile on pole position, gets himself another point for that. It is Immortalis who will be starting in 2nd place. Linga Bazinga is in 3rd. Bruce Law is 4th, with Little God in 5th, and Martin 65 making up row 3 in 6th place. Snarling Bongo is in 7th, with CDN Trooper in 8th. 9th is Dr. Potford. Rounding out the top 10 is Chris 94 M Sport. Darnell is in 11th, and Carlin Hicks rounds out in 12th place. So we have already had a dropout So that's a little unfortunate. I have to try and figure out who that is that's already disappeared. But in the meantime, our drivers will go and get themselves prepared for this race. Don't forget, if you want to take part in Flux Motorsport, if you want to be part of everything that we're doing here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you get notified of all of our latest videos as they appear here on YouTube. And why not drop us a like on this video too? You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Flux Motorsport. And don't forget that you can also join our Discord server too to keep up to date with everything that is going on here at Flux Motorsport. And don't forget, if you want to join us and be a part of the community, all you need to do is head over to fluxmotorsport.com and you'll be able to join our community and you will be able to be part of us there. So our drivers are getting ready. In the meantime, I'm still trying to figure out who it is that we've managed to lose from this session. I believe it is Biohazard. Yes, Biohazard is the one that we've lost, unfortunately, before we could even get to the race. So Biohazard is the one who's dropped out, unfortunately. But I'm sure he'll be back for our next race. That is at a very infamous circuit in the USA, is Willow Springs. And if you love a little bit of Willow Springs action, then you'll love what's coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time in America. It is the GT1 Championship taking place at Willow Springs International. Dale the Whale leads the championship there. And on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern in America, it is the IndyCar Championship that also continues with round 2 taking place at Willow Springs, and round 3 of the Touring Car Championship is coming up on Tuesday. That is 8 p.m. UK time, 3 Eastern, and that is at the Imola Grand Prix circuit. So we get ready for our 45-minute race. The lights are on and the lights are out. It is pretty much exactly as it happened last week. Blank File takes the lead, but Immortalis is pushing, but Blank File has a little bit of an answer this time. Immortalis wasn't quite able to make the jump like he did at Austria. It is Blank File that takes the lead from Immortalis. Bruce Law takes 3rd place over from Linga Bazinga. Little God still hanging on in 5th place. All nice and neat, and that's a move there by Lil God trying to go up on the inside of Linga Bazinga, gets the move done and takes 4th place. Brilliant move there down into La Chapelle. That is a great way to start the race, but there is contact up at the front. Lil God takes the lead. Incredible. That was a massive situation. Blank File and Immortalis came together. That is not exactly what you expect at lap 1 around this circuit. That is incredible. I can't believe that, and all that hard work in qualifying, and now they're going to have to push throughout the race. What happened there? Blank File and Immortalis find themselves now down at the back of the field in 9th and 10th place after that one. And Little God is going to say, thanks for that. I will gladly take the lead from 4th place all the way up to 1st. Bruce Law was also involved in that, not so much, not affected as much, still in 3rd place, hounding Linga Bazinga, the championship leader at the moment. But Lil God is going to be more than happy with what happened there. But goodness gracious, if there's a time for an incident to happen, I guess the opening lap is the place for it to happen. Immortalis still pushing now, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this, aren't we? Because this is going to be an epic battle from the back of the field to try and get themselves back up the front. It's not what they need. Taking a tight inside line as Immortalis tries to look up the inside now. There's a head down towards La Chapelle. Can he make the move? Not quite. And he spun it as well for good measure. That is not what he wants. Pushing so hard to try and get Blank File. And that is 2 situations now that has cost him position and time. And now fighting with Darnell and Carlin Hicks at the back of the field. That is going to be some work to try and get back to the front. It is a near free. It's a 2.5 second lead now for Little God up at the front. He's just running away with this one. And we saw this in terms of taking on Linga Bazinga near the end of Season 1. It was quite the challenge for Lil God to be consistent in the races, but as soon as he got used to the GT1 cars near the end of the season, he really came alive, won the last 2 races of the Season 1 a few months ago, and was able to really take the title challenge to Linga Bazinga. In the end, it came down to just 5 points. If one more race, and Lil God may have had a chance to overtake, but Linga Bazinga is a master of consistency in this championship. Last season, and even heading into the first race last week as well, has only finished outside of the top 2 in a race just once. That was a 4th place at Brno last season. So Linga Bazinga knows how to keep himself up the front as well, and maybe just letting Lil God run away with this one a little bit. We know Linga Bazinga likes to be consistent as well on the track as well as in his race results. So maybe just looking after the car in these early stages, but it's a great little battle going on there. Meanwhile, heading down to 7th place, CDN Trooper is challenging Dr. Popford for 6th. He's all over the back of him at the moment, just trying to find a place. It's quite difficult around this circuit as well. There's not very many opportunities for overtakes. It's a very narrow circuit, so very difficult to find your opportunities and make them as well. Very difficult to follow within the chicanes. So he'll be looking. But your best opportunity, of course, is down that main straight, getting a nice big slipstream as you go through the Dunlop curve and down into the Dunlop chicane. You can follow and through in La Chapelle and 4 as well. We've seen that happen a few times already in this race early on, as Lil God really extending that lead now, 4 seconds up at the front after just 5 minutes of racing, so doing incredibly well. Let's see if CDN Trooper can put a challenge to Dr. Popford then, as we head down the main straight through the Dunlop curve. Not exactly closing in, but can he do anything under braking? They do have to lift a little bit through the Dunlop curve, through the Dunlop chicane. However, gets a little bit closer, but not quite there just yet, but still following on as close as possible. Blankfile has earned himself a penalty now as well, so he's just a 1 second time penalty for a small misdemeanor, as Blankfile now works his way back up the field after qualifying on pole position. A lap 1 incident with Immortalis and to a lesser extent Bruce Law, as Blankfile actually slows down a little bit, so I don't know if he was having to fend off another time penalty there just to make sure that didn't happen. But Immortalis now, the battle resumes. Immortalis now right behind once again, and 2 completely different lines through that sector, so not sure if that may have helped Immortalis a little bit. He looks a little bit closer in the slipstream, not quite going to be able to make the move from here, I don't think, but this is going to be quite a long battle. We're only 6 minutes in, and it seems like these 2 are absolutely inseparable at the moment. So we head down now to the final corner, and Blankfile being pressured by Immortalis, especially coming out of that last corner. So Immortalis will definitely have the slipstream this time. Let's see if he's able to make the move through Dunlop and into the chicane. Again, just loses a little bit of distance to Blankfile there. Blankfile definitely got the legs coming out of that final corner to defend himself. Not so much of a problem from behind with Immortalis at the moment. It's just maybe that little middle sector, the Bugatti section in the middle of the lap. Maybe Immortalis has that down a little bit better than Blankfile at the moment, but as we say, it's a tight, narrow circuit. Overtakes are very difficult to get done here. So Immortalis just trying any which way that he could possibly find in order to try and disturb Blankfile. Just get into his mirrors, just get on his nerves. And this is quite a queue of cars that they've got to try and overtake as well, that's right ahead of them. So this could be quite an interesting battle. You've got Chris 94M Sports, CDN Trooper and Dr. Popford all within close proximity up ahead. Martin 65 as Immortalis looks like he's gone a little bit wide, made a mistake there and ended up back up. Dr. Popford and CDN Trooper swapping positions just then, so I don't know if CDN Trooper may have just made a little bit of a mistake, but Dr. Popford, like I say, kind of goes under the radar a little bit, so let's keep an eye on him for the time being. Got up to 5th place now, so not doing too bad, just a few seconds behind Snarling Bongo, about 2.5 seconds behind, trying to chase Snarling Bongo, who finished on the podium last time out in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. That lead for Little God is still about 4 seconds at the moment to Linga Bazinga, just measuring him, just looking after the car for the car who's chasing behind. Blankfile will be annoyed after what happened on lap 1. Really difficult situation, not entirely sure still what happened, but a collision that was disastrous for both Immortalis and Blankfile, who are trying to challenge for the championship, as Chris 94M Sport runs quite wide there, and that will give Blankfile all the opportunity and incentive that he needs. Is not quite there. Chris 94M Sport still able to just take it, but runs wide once again, and this time does allow Blankfile through, and Blankfile takes 7th place. But Chris 94M Sport trying to have a look at Garage there, maybe not quite gonna work out there, so I think that one's done. Blankfile now up into 7th place and looks for CDN Trooper in 6th, who's still battling with Dr. Popford, closing up a little bit to Snarling Bongo up ahead in 4th. In the meantime, as we've got to about the 10-minute stage, it is Lil God in 1st place now, 5 seconds clear of Linga Bazinga in 2nd. Bruce Law just a little bit behind it in 3rd. Snarling Bongo is in 4th. Dr. Popford is in 5th, being chased by CDN Trooper. Blankfile, who qualified on pole position, is down to 7th place with Chris 94M Sport in 8th. Immortalis, also on the front row, is down in 9th. Martin is dropped down to 10th. Darnell is in 11th, and our reserve Carlin is in 12th at the moment. Don't forget, if you want to be part of Flux Motorsport, you want to be taking part in our championships, all you need to do is just sign up on our website. Just head to fluxmotorsport.com and you'll be able to join us and just pass our evaluation drive, and as soon as you know it, you'll be one of our championships. We have only just started. This is week 2 of season 2, as that's another drive. That's Snarling Bongo, who's had an incident. Snarling Bongo from 4th place is dropped all the way down after a spin at Le Musée, and that is going to open him up to an attack by Chris 94M Sport, who gets through but runs wide again, which allows Snarling Bongo to keep himself in 7th place, but from 4th to 7th, that is an unfortunate situation. Looks like he was all by himself as well, so that has ended up disastrously for the podium sitter last time out at the Red Bull Ring. Down into 7th place now, so Blankfile another space up in 6th in his recovery drive. CDN Trooper now up to 5th, and Dr. Popford will be in 4th place as Bruce Law actually comes into the pit. So was there a collision between the two of them? Did Snarling Bongo make his way right up, and is there a little bit of damage on there, or is this a scheduled pit stop? We'll have to see. But Bruce Law from 3rd place now pits, which is not something that I was expecting, especially so early on. We're only in the first third of the race as well, so looks like maybe a little bit of damage has caused his race to come unglued, as Blankfile gets himself up to 3rd now. So Snarling Bongo has got himself back up to 4th, so both Chris 94M Sport and Dr. Popford has there been an incident between those two as well, because they've dropped down, as both Blankfile and Snarling Bongo make their way back up. So on the YouTube live chat letting me know that CDN Trooper is short for Canadian Trooper. So that is I'd still love to know what exactly happened there, as Darnell in 11th now gets himself a time penalty as well. I'm not sure what that's for. It's just a 1 second penalty. Blankfiles is now up to 2 seconds, so must have had another incident out there as well. We'll just give a shout out to Carlin Hicks as well, who's running in 12th place, just a few seconds down from Darnell. Debutant here at Flux Motorsport as a reserve driver, so he'll be hopefully looking to take part in some future events here at Flux Motorsport, and that can be the position of you, as I was trying to say earlier. If you want to be part of Flux Motorsport, all you have to do, head to fluxmotorsport.com. You'll be able to sign up there and become part of our community, and you'll be able to join our Discord as well. In the meantime, as we get to the third race stage, Little God still leading the way. Is a bit on the grass there, I think, for Starling Bongo. And that helps Chris 94 M Sport get himself a little bit of gap behind. But of course, Dr. Potford and Bruce Law challenge behind. Although Bruce Law now has made a mistake and he's gone off as well, which has cost him a few places. That recovery drive that he was having after that early pit stop has all come undone, and he drops down to 9th place now. So it's been a very hectic lap for some of these drivers. It is absolutely incredible, as Lil God has now taken the fastest lap of the race on a 129.3, so that will give him the bonus point for the fastest lap as well, as he's now 11 seconds behind Linga Bazinga in the lead. So he is coming on fast, as I think that was Immortalis maybe making a mistake there, and that is going to leave the opportunity for Bruce Law to be able to jump him and take 8th place. So a lot of drivers now starting to struggle at Dunlop Chicane. A lot of mistakes, a lot of people going wide, a lot of spins happening. So this is getting rather tense as we head to the final third of the race. We watch Lil God now in 3rd place with that 129.3, the fastest lap of the race, coming up to blank file, just a few seconds behind, just 2.5 seconds behind now. So really, that pit stop has helped him out and done well for him, but he's got still 14 minutes to try and make up 11 seconds to Linga Bazinga. So it's that interesting battle, it's that dilemma. He's gone for the pit stop. Will he be able to keep this pace up and be able to challenge for the race win come the end of this race? We'll have to keep an eye out. For the meantime, Linga Bazinga leads the way, 9 seconds clear of blank file in 2nd place, who is very quickly being hounded by Lil God in 3rd place. It is Chris 94 M Sport in 4th. Martin 65 is 5th, and Snarling Bongo and Bruce Law have been swapping places for 6th and 7th. Dr. Potford down to 8th now. CDN Trooper in 9th. Immortalis rounds out the top 10. Garner Hicks in 11th and Darnell in 12th. I've got to keep an eye on this battle because it is all kicking off. There's mistakes and errors, and it's getting very frantic now in this mid-pack, trying to get as many points in as many places as they possibly can. It is looking very tight. There's a lot of swapping of positions that has been happening around here. In the meantime, talking about swapping positions, it may be that we're about to get one now as Little God goes up on the inside of blank file down to 9 and 10, and Little God gets himself up into 2nd place and now has a 10-second gap to try and catch Linga Bazinga to take the win of this race, having made that pit stop. Can Linga Bazinga hold on? He's notorious for being able to hold on to the car, look after it for a whole race distance, but can he hold off his championship rival from last season as the seconds and the minutes count down? Just 12.5 minutes to go and a 10-second gap. That is a lot of work that Lil God is going to need to do in order to be able to catch this in time. He's got to push, he's got to get those lap times in. To head now to this freeway battle for 6th place. Snarling Bongo just making a little bit of a gap now to Bruce Law in 7th and Dr. Potford in 8th. A lot of time penalties as well, which is going to shake up the order quite a lot. So not entirely sure how this is going to end in the meantime, but we'll find out as we get to the end of the race. As we head down now, just less than 12 minutes left. And it looks like, has Dr. Potford had another incident? Immortalis has come through in 8th, so Dr. Potford has had another spin at the Dunlop chicane and is getting out of the way now, I think, for a lapping car. So Dr. Potford, is he pulling off? Is he going to retire from this race? Or is he just... No, he has come back onto the track, so I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. Maybe he's picked up a little bit of damage, possibly. I'm not sure, but that's another driver that is having issues, a lot of them now, as Bruce Law and Snarling Bongo now fighting for 6th place, as Bruce Law has taken up the inside of Garage Fair, but he's going to be on the outside, but gets the move done. He gets himself ahead, and also Snarling Bongo has an issue going through that chicane, so Snarling Bongo down to 7th, Bruce Law up to 6th, and is now pushing Martin 65 for 5th place. As Snarling Bongo has another incident, he's spun off behind, and that is going to give Immortalis 7th place. But we're looking at this battle. Bruce Law is fighting, he's hungry for these places, and already looking to try and get up the inside as they head to the Dunlop curve. It'll be a brave move to try and get it done there, but he goes up the inside, gets it done, side by side, heads to 5th place, but he's got the outside line. But once again, gets the move done, gets a little tap from Martin actually, but Martin, fair play, holds back and lets Bruce Law take that lead. So Bruce Law gets the position and gets himself 5th place now, ahead of Bruce Law. He's got about a 5.5 second gap to make to get to Chris 94M Sport. So that's another one that is going to be closing up that we'll have to keep an eye out for. I believe that's a lap car up ahead, as Dr. Popford does come in, so maybe there was damage to that car after that spin and that crash, which is sadly we're in Dr. Popford's race there, as he is just about to head out of his stop. And a gap at the lead at the front is now down to 8 seconds for Lil God, as he gets it under 8 seconds now. 9.5 minutes to try and close that gap. Only 7 tenths closed in the last lap. He's going to need a little bit more if he's going to get that move done to try and get himself the lead. Take a look at Immortalis, who just has another driver getting out of the way. I believe that's Carnan Hicks just trying to stay. So, not sure who those two are, but we're going to have to take a check of the driver profiles, aren't we, to try and see who's dropped out. Unfortunately, as we're now down to just 10 drivers left competing in the race, it does look like Dr. Popford has disconnected and left after a very difficult race for him. Darnell still in 10th place in our Carling. Hicks, our reserve driver, is in 9th place. Martin is in 8th. I'm still trying to work it out. I believe, no, it's not Immortalis. Immortalis we're watching right now. This is the joy of having to work on 2 screens at the same time. So Chris 94M Sport sitting nice in 4th place, but Bruce Law is catching him quite quickly actually. Bruce Law, they're already just now less than 2 seconds behind. I believe it's CDN Trooper is the other one that we've lost. Yes, so Dr. Popford and CDN Trooper are the 2 drivers that we've just lost, unfortunately. So that's another 2 disconnections, so they won't be scoring any points, as Bruce Law closing in to under 2 seconds now, chasing Chris 94M Sport for that 4th place, and that will be a good recovery drive once again. Unfortunate for Bruce Law, leading the way in Austria, spun out, dropped all the way down to 11th before climbing his way back up to 2nd, and again in 3rd place in the opening lap of this race before an incident and a pit stop for some damage saw him drop down to the back of the field, working his way back up nicely, got into 5th place, and now chasing Chris 94M Sport for 4th. In fact, getting it down to just a second now, so it's closing quite quickly for this 4th place. Chris is going to have to do some more defending, and that seems to be a lot of Chris's race so far. He's doing quite well to be up in 4th, but he's having to defend quite a lot from the drivers behind him as we enter the final few minutes of this race. Up ahead, it's only half a second gap last time around for Lil God on Link.